Welcome. Okay. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 19th, 2015 meeting of the Hot Springs Board of Directors. Tonight, our invocation will be led by Pastor Bob Thornton, to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand with me?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here to pray with you and over the city. Father, we just come to you in Jesus' name, and God, I just thank you for the city of Hot Springs, the place that you've placed us to live in, place that we raise our families. God, I just ask that you would continue to watch over Hot Springs and the people of this city, that you would bless this city, that your favor would be upon us in all that we do, businesses, families, schools. Lord, that you would just be in charge of everything. I thank you for these men and women that serve in these city positions. I ask that your blessings be upon them. God, that you would give them wisdom and knowledge and discernment to do the things that you would have them to do. Lord, to help this city to be as best as it can be. And we'll always be faithful to give you the praise and honor and glory for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby call this meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Ramick.
Here.
Foley.
Aye.
Carney.
Here. Wait, was somebody confused? Are you here?
I'm here.
You're over here. Okay. The first item of business is to consider the approval of the agenda. Directors, are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda, including items, if any, to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I recommended this afternoon that we table agenda item number 16.
Motion's been made to remove it from tonight's agenda.
Second.
You're right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to remove. Any other removals or adjustments? Okay, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Ramick.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. Okay, do we need to approve that as amended?
Yes.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, it is approved. It is adopted. Okay, the next item of business is to consider the minutes for the board meeting held on May 5th. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Madam Mayor, I move for approval of the minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay. In an effort to afford everyone an equal and orderly opportunity to address the items on tonight's agenda, I ask that everyone adhere to our 3-minute limit on your comments, but there's no comments tonight. For your convenience, we will display a clock timer, and we'll skip all of that. We also ask that you silence your cell phones, and please refrain from any disruptions, Mr. Lewin. And should you need to leave prior to the conclusion of our meeting, we ask that you do so quietly. And thank you so much. We have a very small group here tonight, but thank you for coming and thank you for caring about the business of our community. I appreciate your attendance here. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we have guests to be recognized. Any that you're all our guests. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We'll now hear our city manager's
Thank you,
report.
Mayor. I wanted to highlight 2 items. The first is our new issue of City in Progress, which is our citywide electronic magazine, is now online. It features how recent specialty training of our police officers has saved the lives of 6 local citizens. And I wanted to expand on that a little bit. Chief Flory, a couple of years ago, introduced a program into the police department that really is an outgrowth of some military change in how trauma is handled on the battlefield. And I can say that in the past 2 years, I'm not sure all of our police officers, but I suspect most have received this training. And what it does, it allows an officer to attend to a person who has been shot, knifed, in a bad car wreck, doesn't matter. They can perform on the scene emergency treatment, and in the last 2 years, they have saved 6 people's lives. They have saved limbs, arms. It's quite remarkable. So I would recommend that you read that article. I think you would be very proud of what our police department is doing. The rest of that e-magazine addresses the status of our major city projects, our award-winning utilities, generator monitoring system, and more. You can find those articles at our website, which is www.cityhs.net. Under Your Government, it's a tab. So go to that one. My last one really is just kind of providing a glimpse of what this city can look forward to as it expands its role of being a regional recreation attraction. As you know, this past weekend, in fact, it concluded on Monday, the 5A girls softball or fast pitch softball tournament concluded at Kimry Park. There were over 2,000 paid fans that came out to the tournament. Wow. 16 teams from all corners of Arkansas participated. 10 teams stayed in hotels in the city. The new infield lived up to its reputation as far as being a quality surface in all weather, and as you well know, we've had all weather. Even though we received almost 2 inches of rain during the tournament, grounds crews never had to do any work on the infield, which, as we mentioned, we have the only pro-turf infield in Arkansas. We had Henderson State conducted a survey of people who were in attendance, and I thought these were interesting. Out of the 16 teams, they reported that they ate at least 2 or more meals at restaurants in Hot Springs. 10, as I mentioned prior, 10 teams stayed in hotels. Each team averaged 41 fans that traveled with the teams. This was the first time all 16 teams had ever played on turf. There was a 98% approval rating by players and coaches on the turf. 88% of the teams ate at least one meal at Buffalo Wild Wings. Interesting. And the number one requested item to make our park better was we need more seating. So we've already been contacted by a potential host to bid on multiple events for 2016. And once again, I want to really compliment the work of Nathan Neighbors, our sports recreation director.
Yes.
He is doing a fabulous job. Thank you.
Great. I have one question about that, too. I've had some of the people that play ball out there ask about, they said the infield is absolutely awesome. Could we do something about the outfield? I think they're tripping over holes or something. Need more money?
Yeah, we had, you can imagine with all the rain that we've had, it's been very challenging to keep the outfields level.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we know that has been a shortcoming. I think in one case we had to bring in some sand to kind of level the playing field. Level the playing field.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we know that that's something that we need to kind of hone our skills on.
I think that's what I told them. Money. So,
If you just get really good pitchers, you don't have to worry about
don't have to go to the outfield at all.
Yeah.
Just leave those guys standing out there. They don't have to run, right? Okay, that's good. Do any of our directors have announcements concerning upcoming events? Yes, ma'am.
Just a reminder that the Hot Springs Music Festival will take place in venues all throughout downtown, and it starts May the 31st through June the 13th.
Okay. And this Wednesday, we have, again, they came through last year, Carry the Load. It's joined the mission of the Memorial Day event honoring fallen soldiers. And they are going to start at 8 o'clock at our police station. And they're walking. Last year we had policemen and firemen and different ones walking with them. Citizens can walk with them. But they'll be going from the police station down Grand, turn left on Central, and then go to La Quinta Hotel, where they'll gather together as a group and have a little ceremony to remember the fallen soldiers. But they're walking from, I forgot where they started, but it's far, far away, and they're going to Texas, and they'll be there for Memorial Day, and they're walking all the way. They came last year in a big bus that kind of follows them and takes care of them. So they really would like to have people in front of your businesses or on the side of the street cheering them on. I know that happened last year. I followed them from their starting to their finish almost. It'd be great if you're out around that time and you see them, is to blow your horns, wave, let them know that you know what they're doing in memory of those who have fallen. It's Wednesday at 8 o'clock at the police station, and you're walking from there, and should be at La Quinta behind Blue Monkey at 10 o'clock for service. And then National Prevention Week is May 17th through the 23rd. And the Garland County Cares is dedicated to prevent substance abuse and promote mental health. Free information is available from organizations and individuals interested in helping us to promote this National Health Observant Week. The goal of National Prevention Week is to increase public awareness of and action around substance abuse and mental health issues. National Prevention Week echoes a key message of the U.S. Surgeon General's National Prevention Strategy, emphasizing that prevention should be woven into all aspects of our lives, including where and how we live, learn, work, and play, and that everyone has a role in creating a healthier nation. Garland County Cares recognize that the choices people make, and the conversations they have in their everyday lives are key to healthy communities and futures. To encourage healthy living and decision-making, CARES is collaborating with local organizations to provide free information focused on each day's theme. We missed Monday. Today is Tuesday. Today there was prevention of underage drinking at the Hot Springs High School. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May the 20th at 9 o'clock, is prevention of opiate and prescription drug abuse at Quapaw House for adolescents. And then at 11 o'clock, that's at 9 and 11:30, Lake Hamilton High School, Horizon ALE, increasing protective factors and reducing risk. And then on Thursday, May the 21st, prevention of illicit drugs use and youth marijuana use, and that's at 11 o'clock. And there's a youth forum at the First Church of the Nazarene with all of the surrounding interested entities, the YMCA, the police department, and they're bringing interesting protective factors and reducing risk. Counselors from each of the Garland County school districts are invited to bring students to participate in assessing needs for students this summer in order to increase protective factors and reduce the risk of starting to use alcohol, drug, and other drugs, tobacco and other drugs. And then Friday, May 22nd, is prevention of suicide. That's at 8 o'clock at Teen, and that will focus on also tobacco and other drug prevention. This is an awesome group of people. The one on Thursday at 11 is a group that are trying to get the kids off the street all summer and give them activities to do, working with the Y and several different churches and adults who will provide safe places for them to be on Friday night and Saturday night. And so if you're interested in helping our youth in our whole city, and it's all inclusive, all the schools, please come and be a part of that 11 o'clock youth forum at First Church of the Nazarene on Thursday. Okay. Any other announcements? Yes, sir.
Mayor, this Thursday, I am proud and honored to be graduating from Class 14 of the Hot Springs Citizens Police Academy. And I would encourage all citizens to try to enroll in the fall class, and especially this Board of Directors. I think that they would greatly benefit from it.
I graduated, and it was good.
Still got your badge?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't wear it often. I should wear my badge, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it is well worth the time and effort to go through that. Very, very good. Any other announcements? Upcoming events? Okay. The next item of business is to the consideration of the consent agenda, and items in this section are of a routine nature and will be considered as one item of business without discussion. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? We have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Clark.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Ramick.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Yes. And I would like to congratulate Mr. I know your last name, Gargano, for his new business, and that will be out at the airport in one of our buildings that will be oil and lube and cars. And so good luck on your start, and we'll be hoping everything goes really well with that. That was in the consent agenda. Thanks. Okay, new business has been eliminated, and so the next item is board comments, Board of Directors comments.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we adjourn.
Wait just a minute. Okay, I have comments, okay. I think this is something we should all pay attention to, and maybe I would like to request that we put it on the agenda for the next board meeting. But all of us received a letter from the National Center for Life and Liberty. It's a national public interest law firm with offices in Florida, Texas, and Washington, and they specialize in constitutional and free speech issues and litigations. And this is a letter we all received from that this week requesting that we reconsider our policy. Part of this was in the newspaper, but not all of it. It didn't explain everything, but it says that we specialize in constitutional free speech issues and litigation, and we frequently represent individuals whose constitutional right to freedom of speech has been abridged by various governmental bodies. We are contacting you on behalf of Mr. Robert Driggers, a citizen of Hot Springs. It has come to our attention that following a state lawsuit filed by Mr. Driggers and others, the board compiled with the court's requirement to take a vote at a public meeting regarding televising citizen comments rather than making that decision in secret. We have reviewed that state Supreme Court decision, Board of Directors of City of Hot Springs versus Pritchett, noting that while it did address the procedural issues surrounding the board's decision to cease televising citizen public comments, the state court did not address the substance of the federal Constitution free speech violation that occurred when the city ceased televising public comments because the board disagreed with the viewpoints being expressed by citizens, including our client, Mr. Driggers. Such behavior regarding citizens' free speech right constitutes content-based or viewpoint discrimination. In the case of Lamb Chapel versus Center Union Free School District, Justice White said, in the court's majority opinion, the principle that has emerged from our cases is that the First Amendment forbids the government to regulate speech in ways that favor some viewpoints or ideas at the expense of others. The Supreme Court has made it clear that the government may not impose regulations or policies intended to suppress particular viewpoints. In the case of Rosenberg versus Rector, the court found viewpoint discrimination when a state university refused to fund citizen newspaper based on the viewpoint expressed there when other newspapers with competing viewpoints were funded. In Hot Springs, the government televises its own comments and views, but then refuses the same televised opportunity for competing views expressed by citizens. In Rav versus City of St. Paul, the U.S. Supreme Court referred to Justice Holmes' historic argument that the free speech clause ensures a marketplace of ideas that can compete for acceptance by citizens seeking the truth. The court noted that the government may not improperly use content or viewpoint discrimination to drive certain ideas out of the marketplace. In addition, government suppression of controversial viewpoints threatens an important role of free speech, which is to expose government practices that might otherwise go unchallenged. This same type of First Amendment violation also makes it difficult for citizens to engage in effective self-government by preventing them from expressing, or in this case, also from hearing or seeing on TV political speech that contradicts the government's position. While it is important for citizens to be able to speak to their city representatives during public comment times, it is equally important that other citizens also have the opportunity to hear these viewpoints. Citizens' comments given at a board meeting must be available for all to hear, not just the board of those who are physically able to attend the meeting. Many citizens, such as those who are shut in or for whatever other reason are unable to attend the board meetings, are then unable to hear the comments from other citizens when those comments are being censored by not being permitted to be televised along with other portions of the meeting where the government expresses its viewpoint. Citizen comments are not only helpful for the board, they are also helpful for other citizens, some of whom may not be able to attend the board meetings in person, in order to equally hear the various viewpoints expressed there by both board members and citizens. Political speech is one of the most protected forms of speech under the First Amendment. Supreme Court Justice William Brennan stated in the case of New York Times versus Sullivan that the First Amendment provides that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open. Censorship of such speech, particularly when based upon the viewpoint of the speaker, is constitutionally prohibited. Therefore, while the board has corrected its vote procedurally in light of the state Supreme Court's decision, the board did not correct the federal constitutional violation that is still ongoing when the government expresses its viewpoint on television, but then prohibits the same televised opportunity for citizens to express competing viewpoints. Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson said in the case of West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett that one's right of free speech and other fundamental rights may not be submitted to vote. They depend on the outcome of no elections. The board incurs no cost by including citizen public comments along with the televised board meeting. However, the board does not impose a constitutional cost on citizens' rights when it refuses to allow the same televised opportunity for citizen comments that is granted to its own viewpoints. Board members are already on record indicating that their reason for refusing to continue televising the public comment is at least partially based upon the viewpoints of the participating speakers, including our client, Mr. Driggers. We hereby demand that the board resume televising the citizen public comments within 1 month from the date of this letter. Political speech is one of the most protected free speech categories in American law. Governments are not permitted to interfere with this constitutional right based upon the viewpoint of the speaker. Additionally, the loss of constitutional freedoms, even for a moment, is an irreparable injury. Please respond within 10 business days to this letter indicating your confirmation that the city will respect the constitutional free speech rights of our client, Mr. Driggers, and other citizens by reinstating the televised public comment time within 1 month from the date of this letter. Sincerely, David C. Gibbs III. This is a letter. I know we only get partial information in our newspaper and different news articles that go out, but I felt like this should be read in its entirety, and I'm requesting that this be put on the agenda for the next board meeting for discussion, because we can't discuss anything or even decide if we're going to keep the policy that we have now. I'm concerned that it could be another legal issue if we don't adjust. So would you please?
Does that mean we can cut the whole thing out?
You can, if you so desire.
Don't televise nothing?
If you want to do that.
Madam Mayor, of course, you've read the letter in its entirety, which we all received this in its entirety, and I assume that we've all read it. And I think the newspaper obviously doesn't verbatim report that. It's been reported. I believe our legal counsel has indicated he's prepared to give a response. But in light of what you just said, Mr. City Attorney, Would you like for us to wait until such time as we discuss this, or do you want to go ahead and respond?
Well, I think that we didn't ask him to make a response. Actually, that comes from the board. That's not that's not something that we do without giving direction to give a response, whatever that response may be. I think it should be, the letter was sent to us as a board who made the policy. So I think if we are going to have him make a response, it should come as a board directive to make a
And
response.
from a lawyer.
I thought that's what we paid him for.
Yeah.
To respond to that.
It's his job.
Without our input at all.
And I
Well,
sent
we
it to
don't
him.
law. He does.
I sent it to him.
He's just going to respond to it. It's not going to.
Right.
Well, you don't care how he responds? We're not going to discuss it as a board?
No, I would like to see his response before he submits it, but, I think that's what the city attorney does, protects the interests of the city.
Right, but he takes direction, and we're being requested to alter our policy. So it's our policy. So if we're going to say, no, we're not going to alter it, or yes, we are, then we need to discuss that when it's on the agenda so that we can direct him to say, no, we're not, or yes, we are. Please respond.
Do our procedural rules allow us to, when we don't have some item placed on the agenda, by supermajority to add something to the agenda?
Could have, but that time has gone and passed. With your approval of the agenda, had you wanted to have discussion about this and have some sort of a vote, you should have amended your agenda so that it would have been properly placed on the agenda for your consideration.
Thank you. I would point out that I'm the new member on the board. Director Ramick has prior experience, so thank you for that education lesson tonight. I will consider that to be stored away for future reference.
I was going to ask the same question.
Well, if my memory serves me, we did vote on this in public at a board meeting after the suit was settled.
This letter, we voted on this letter.
We voted on whether to
A policy.
to
That was
televise or
according to,
not.
that was the FOIA mandate from that court. This is going to be another court, and I'm just saying, if we want to avoid some more legal fees, we should probably discuss it. We're not supposed to be discussing it if it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, but you read the letter.
It's a public letter that most people don't know what it
I didn't
says.
understand half of what you said, and I know nobody else did.
Did you read the letter yourself in
Yeah,
its
and I didn't
entirety?
understand it.
Okay, well, that's
why
why
we got an attorney. I asked
That's
him
why we
about
need to put it on the agenda so we can discuss it and decide if we want to go ahead and have some more legal
I don't think it
issues.
should go on the agenda.
So are you wanting to propose a resolution to change our policy again?
Whether or not we discuss that it would have to be on the agenda, whether or not to alter our policy to comply with the request.
So at the next time we get together, we decide whether it's even going to be on the agenda. Correct?
Okay, or you're going to ignore it and pay some more money because I
That was not
guarantee-
my question. I'm asking.
Is that a legal
Is
opinion
it
that we're going to pay
the
more money?
appropriate
Well,
venue
if it goes to
is
court, you will.
to have somebody request it, and if it is not approved, it doesn't get on the agenda,
Right, you
correct?
can take it
Okay,
off the
thank
agenda.
you.
Yeah.
On a lighter note,
Okay.
I noticed that we have a packet of people who have applied to be on city boards and commissions, applicants, and that we'll be screening these people after our next agenda meeting, which is next Tuesday. I had one question under the Planning Commission. It says 3 openings, District 1, District 2, citywide. It lists the at-large people and it lists the District 1 people, so I'm left with 1 or 2 questions. Either we didn't have anybody from District 2 or District 2 was left off.
Yeah,
All right,
District 2, no
So do we currently then have a vacancy from District 2 on the Planning Commission?
Yes.
We do. You do
Okay.
have a policy, though. If it does go unfulfilled for 6 months, you can just do an at-large city,
Okay.
qualified city
I'd
election.
had applied,
Okay.
No, haven't got.
Mary,
That'll keep the vacancies from.
Mary somebody.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do have one announcement, Mayor.
Okay.
There will be a Veterans Memorial Garden of Garland County in Transportation Plaza. The Veterans Organization of Hot Springs will sponsor the annual Memorial Day service to honor veterans. Morris Cash, Veterans Memorial Committee Chairman, Said this ceremony will include the Memorial Avenue of Flags at Crestview, Greenwood, and Memorial Gardens cemeteries. There'll be several speakers. Memorial wreaths will be placed by the VFW Auxiliary in Ross. Rumor will play taps. Mr. Gooch will also present a melody of patriotic songs. So I would encourage all of you to attend that.
Okay, thank you.
This is, I beg your pardon, it's on May 25th at 11 a.m.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, immediately following our adjournment, we have public comment section.